Hello pet lovers and do-it-yourselfers. This is John, owner and operator of PetDoorStore.com, and today I'm going to talk to you about what I think is the best screen-mounted pet door on the market, and it is the Hale pet screen door. Now this one is better than the other ones because most of them actually clip right to the screen mesh. They have an inside frame and an outside frame, and they sandwich together through the mesh, and really it's just the mesh which is holding them on. So we sell a couple of those. We only recommend them for cats and not for dogs at all. Because if a dog goes charging through there, it doesn't matter if you have the pet resistant screen mesh or not, it's gonna come out. So Hale has improved this idea of a screen pet door by having it attached to the pet door, or to the screen frame, I should say, on the side and across the bottom. And then on the other two sides, the screen just laces right into this little channel here. So it's firmly attached in the corner, and you can have a large dog come charging through this at full speed and it's not going anywhere. They do have a stabilizer bar option, which is a 1-inch wide strap of aluminum, which you screw to the screen frame and then across the top of the pet door and then over to the other screen frame on the other side. You can opt for that. It's not very expensive. It's $25, comes in 2 widths and all the same colors that the pet door comes in, but it's not necessary for most of the smaller sizes. Maybe for the giant and the extra large, things like that, but for the smaller sizes, just the way that it installs in the corner is surprisingly strong. Now these doors come in 4 colors, and I have their picture of 4 frames laid on top of each other on the website. Now, I really don't like this picture because it's on a beige background, and the silver looks beige because it's reflecting and all this sort of thing. This is their color frame that they send out to all of us distributors, and this might have the same problem in here because we're in Seattle and there's not a whole lot of light here, but I'm going to hold this up a little closer and hopefully you can see what's going on here. We've got a white, which is a bright white, not an eggshell, it's bright white. Beige, tough to describe beige, but I'd say coffee with 2 creams is probably pretty close, depending on how you make your coffee, I guess. Satin, which is like a brushed aluminum, bottom of a Coke can, and then bronze. Now this is bronze. This is almost black. Occasionally we'll get somebody who said, I ordered bronze and I got black. That's bronze. According to the aluminum manufacturers, that's what bronze looks like. So these doors were designed back in the 70s, and in the 70s, sliding glass doors and sliding screen doors were made out of aluminum, and the aluminum frames were thinner. So I'm going to show you a couple of these. This is a 1979 vintage sliding screen door, and I'm going to try to get an edge view on this. You can see that this dimension here is a 1/2 inch thick, and it doesn't change. It's 1/2 inch thick, and there's no step on it or anything like that. So this is what the Hale pet door was originally designed for. The other style that you'll find on newer vinyl sliding glass doors is like this white one here. Now this white one is about a 1/2 inch thick here, but it widens out, and at the edge where the actual screen attaches, it's 1 inch thick. That poses some problems, but Hale is great with this. They will modify this to fit your door before they ship it to you. No extra cost. It's not a final sale. It's not a custom order or anything like that. And they make it really easy to do. Now, not only do these modified pet doors fit these thicker frames, if you're in Florida or Southeast and you have a pool cage or lanai or screened-in porch, whatever you want to call it, those things usually have aluminum frames which are 2 inches thick. The Hale, when modified just the same way as fits this vinyl sliding screen, will also fit your pool cage. So that's the one to go with for that application, and the installation is super simple. I'm going to show you that, but I'm going to need to change the camera around so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is the older style 1/2 inch thick frame installation. So you got your pet door, and I've pulled this spline up already, but this spline is just a rubber cord, and it's just pushed into this. You see it just pulls right out. Now once it pulls out, then the screen is free. So I've pulled this up in the corner just to expedite things a little bit. And what you do is, this pet door has a U-shaped channel on the side and the bottom. And you just pull the screen back, slide this thing onto the frame, and it really does just slide right on there. And then the pet door comes with a bunch of sheet metal screws. It actually came with 10. I wouldn't use 10 in this case. I'd probably use 6. I'd use maybe 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 across like that. Now, you need to drill holes to get the screws in, and it comes with a drill bit. But if you've never drilled into aluminum before, what you don't want to do is take your drill and just set it right on here and pull the trigger, because what will happen is the drill will just walk around. It's impossible to get a hole started. So what you need to do is take a nail and just hold it where you want the screw to go through. Tap it with it, give it a good solid whack with a hammer, and it'll put a little dent in there. Once the dent's in there, the screw won't, or the drill bit won't walk around. It'll just drill straight through there. So give yourself 6 dents, and then follow them up with the drill bit. Put the sheet metal screws in, and now this thing is firmly attached to the screen frame. The only other job here is to lay this screen over. The pet door comes with its own spline, which is right here. And this spline is a little thicker than the spline that came with this door. I don't know if you can see that or not. But basically, you just want to pull this tight, not too tight, but a little bit tighter than it was. And then push this spline into the channel here, around the side and across the top. And then take a razor knife and trim off the extra screen. Push this spline back in, and that is it. You are done. We like to say that this job takes 15 minutes if you stop in the middle and have a cup of coffee. It really is that simple. So next up, I'm going to show the thicker version. Okay, so this is the thicker screen frame version. You can see here, if I pull this back, that you got about 1 inch thickness here instead of the 1/2 inch thick like we did on the other one. So this pet door is basically just going to sit on top of this corner here. It won't capture it, but it'll just sit on top of it, and then it'll screw in and it'll install the same way. Now the way it does this is they've modified it, and the way they've modified it is by cutting off one leg of this U-shaped channel. So there used to be another wall like this right off of this one, and it's stuck up here, but they've cut that off for us. And like I said before, this is not a custom installation. It's not something that's non-refundable because they modified it. They'll do this for you, and you can still return it, which is pretty awesome. Now, you'll just screw it in on the one flange that's there. So you put your screws through here, and I'll show you this. So you just put your screws across the top, or across the bottom and down the side, and that's it. Now this particular screen is interesting because there's a little plastic nub in here. I don't know what you call it, but it's a little bump that's molded into the plastic, and this plastic holds the corner of the door together. Now, it might be possible to take a hacksaw or something and try to cut that piece out of there, but I wouldn't. What I would do instead is just use this pet door just the same way, and I would just set it on top of that, and then make sure that your gaps in the corner here are the same on each side. So you get it squarely into the corner there, and make sure your gap is the same over here as over there. And do your same thing you did before. Do your 3 holes across, 3 holes up, and screw it in. Now when you screw it in, because you're kind of spaced off the bottom and spaced off the side, you don't have as much metal here. So what I do is I drill my holes lower in, lower to the bottom and farther out to the side, and then I toenail the screws. Toenailing is, instead of going straight in like this, you go at an angle. So if you go at an angle, you'll hit more of the meat of this frame here, and that's it. That's easier than trying to cut that little plastic nub off, and I think this is really good that I got one that wasn't a perfectly straightforward installation, just to have the ability to explain, at least one of the possible workarounds. Once you get it installed, same thing, lay this over, take the spline, put it in here, trim off the excess, and spline the original screen back in. And that's all there is to it. Now this works. It doesn't matter if your screen frame is 3/4 of an inch thick or 15 inches thick. This works because it doesn't have to capture over the edge of the screen framing. So for all your lanais and all that stuff, this works great. Also works on swinging screen doors that are thicker than a 1/2 inch. So it's pretty adaptable, and especially seeing as how they'll modify it without any charge or anything, it's a great option. That's pretty much going to be it for today. If you have any questions or anything, you can get a hold of me at 866-377-3667. The website is petdoorstore.com. Our email address, sales@petdoorstore.com. And we have chat on the website too. So if you're on there and you have a quick question, if you look at the left-hand side menu about 2/3 of the way down, you'll see the floating chat thing. Just click on it and you'll be able to talk to me that way instantaneously. Thanks very much for watching.